They believed executing the last system lord would bring peace. A special forces team travels to a distant world for the final sentence. But they soon realize the prisoner isn't being punished. He's activating his final, history-altering weapon. The story kicks off with what should be a moment of ultimate triumph. After years of galactic war, SG-1 is about to witness the execution of Ba'al, the very last of the despotic Goa'uld System Lords. General Landry sees them off with a joke, but it's Vala who brings a chilling gravity to the occasion. Having once been a host herself, she gives a haunting description of what it feels like to have the alien symbiote ripped from your body, reminding them of the profound horror behind this long-awaited ceremony. With the weight of history on their shoulders, the team steps through the Stargate, ready to close this final, bloody chapter. They arrive on the Tok'ra homeworld, a stunning futuristic city where hooded figures chant in a solemn, ancient ritual. The air is thick with ceremony, but after 3 long hours, General O'Neill is comically, painfully bored, whispering jokes to the team. As they wait for the final act, Vala suddenly vanishes without a trace, leaving everyone bewildered. Ba'al is then revived from stasis, and, instead of showing fear, he strolls confidently toward SG-1 for one last conversation. But what he has to say will shatter their victory completely. Ba'al confronts his old enemies not with a plea for mercy, but with a final, chilling bombshell. He claims he's just a clone, and the real Ba'al is still out there, ready to activate a failsafe device. O'Neill scoffs, dismissing it as a desperate lie and telling everyone to get on with it so they can finally have some cake. As the Tok'ra guards strap the clone to the extraction platform, everyone wonders if he's telling the truth. And this is where everything starts to go horribly wrong. If you love universe-bending sci-fi, subscribe now so you never miss a recap. Then, the story abruptly rips us away, jumping back in time to 1939 on a weathered cargo ship named the Achilles crossing the Atlantic. The crew is on alert for German U-boats, but a far stranger enemy is about to strike. In the cargo hold, a massive Stargate activates, the energy blast ripping a hole through the ship's hull and vaporizing a crewman instantly. The real Ba'al steps through the wormhole with his Jaffa warriors, his true plan finally in motion. With a sinister calm, he declares, "We have all the time in the world," revealing the terrifying scale of his temporal scheme. Back in the present, chaos erupts. Just as the extraction begins, Teal'c vanishes into thin air, exactly as the clone predicted. The Tok'ra start disappearing one by one, their reality unraveling before SG-1's eyes. The Ba'al clone breaks free and stabs O'Neill before Mitchell shoots him down, his body fading away as he dies. Meanwhile, in 1939, Ba'al's Jaffa ruthlessly execute the crew of the Achilles. With his historical objective complete, Ba'al dials the Stargate and escapes, leaving behind a permanently altered timeline. But the wounded captain of the Achilles makes one last heroic stand. He stumbles through the hold, finds a strange spherical device Ba'al left behind, and hurls it into the ocean moments before he collapses. This single act of defiance changes everything. In the crumbling present, SG-1 makes a desperate escape through the Stargate, but they don't land at home. They emerge into a dark, frozen hellscape, the cargo hold of that very same ship, now trapped deep within an Arctic ice sheet. They are stranded in a broken timeline, with no obvious way out. Trapped and freezing, the team pieces together what happened. Mitchell recognizes the ship as the Achilles, the vessel that was supposed to bring the Stargate to America. Carter confirms the temperature is plummeting past -40, and they only have minutes before hypothermia claims them. With their emergency supplies gone along with Teal'c, Mitchell makes a desperate gamble. He decides to use C4 to blast a hole in the hull, a move that could either save them or send them to a watery grave. The explosion rips a hole in the hull, but it also frees the ship from the ice, causing it to begin sinking fast. As freezing water floods the compartment, they scramble to find foul-weather gear and climb out onto the ice, just as the ship disappears beneath the waves. Now, put yourself in their shoes. Stranded in the vast, unforgiving Arctic, they face an even greater challenge. They are alone, exposed, and utterly hopeless, with no idea which direction leads to safety. or if safety even exists anymore. The situation turns from dire to catastrophic when they realize Daniel's leg is frozen solid. His foot fell through a rotten floorboard on the ship, and he couldn't get his boot off in time. Unable to walk, he heroically insists Carter and Mitchell leave him behind to save themselves, trying to lighten the grim moment with a joke. As they press on, they finally understand Ba'al's plan. He stopped the Stargate from ever reaching America, completely rewriting history. Teal'c and Vala vanished because, in this new reality, SG-1 never existed. They are survivors of a timeline that has been erased. Just as Carter's hope begins to fade, they spot two figures approaching in the distance. It's Jack O'Neill, alive and well, leading a Special Forces team. But this O'Neill doesn't know them. He refers to Carter as a dead astronaut, revealing just how much the world has changed. Their rescue comes in the form of a massive submarine, the USS Alexandria, which breaks through the ice to meet them. They have been found, but they are now strangers in their own world, and their ordeal is far from over. Aboard the submarine, they find Daniel, who was rescued shortly after they left him. The reunion is grim, as he learns he is going to lose his leg. O'Neill confronts them, completely baffled by their story of alternate timelines and alien portals. To prove their connection, Daniel brings up the tragic death of O'Neill's son from their original timeline, but in this reality, his son is alive and well. The attempt to connect backfires catastrophically, deepening the divide and making them sound unhinged and dangerous. O'Neill refuses to listen to their warnings, dismissing them as a security risk and a pile of paperwork. He orders them confined, their pleas falling on deaf ears that belong to a system that has already decided their fate. The team is then subjected to a series of interrogations, where their incredible stories are met with cold skepticism. Carter is forced to confront a shocking truth. In this timeline, Samantha Carter died 4 years earlier in a space shuttle disaster. Their very existence is a paradox, and without proof, they are completely alone. General Hank Landry arrives, and for a moment, it seems they have found an ally who believes their story. But his belief offers no salvation. He informs them that in this version of reality, Colonel Mitchell doesn't exist in the Air Force, and Dr. Jackson is a discredited academic ridiculed for his theories about aliens. The government knows about the second Stargate in Antarctica, but has forbidden any attempt to restore the timeline. Instead, the team will be separated, given new identities, and forced to live out their lives in silence. Mitchell makes a devastating discovery. The captain of the Achilles was his own grandfather, murdered by Ba'al in 1939. This isn't just a changed timeline. It's a grandfather paradox where Mitchell himself should have never been born. Landry delivers the final, crushing blow, explaining the government's reasoning. Restoring their timeline would erase the current one, wiping out millions of lives in an act of mind-boggling arrogance. And this is the exact moment their last shred of hope dies. The team is split up and sent to start new, anonymous lives. They are forbidden from contacting each other or working in any field related to their old expertise. 1 year passes. Mitchell works on a classic car in a quiet suburb. Carter goes grocery shopping, and Daniel, now using a prosthetic leg and a cane, navigates a lonely city. They are ghosts of their former selves, trapped in mundane routines while haunted by the knowledge of the universe they lost. Each of them copes with their fractured existence in their own way. Mitchell drives to his grandfather's old house, searching for a tangible link to a past that was stolen from him. Daniel discovers his own book on the pyramids in a bookstore's discount bin, a painful symbol of his failure in this reality. Carter finds a small fleeting comfort in a box of sugary cereal, a quiet act of rebellion against her colorless new life. They are adrift and alone, just as the government intended. Unable to let go, Daniel makes an anonymous call to his other self, desperately trying to encourage him to keep pursuing his theories about aliens. Just as it seems their quiet lives will continue indefinitely, their world is turned upside down once more. Carter looks up and sees a Goa'uld bomber screaming across the sky. The shocking truth is about to be revealed. After 70 years of waiting, Ba'al's endgame has begun. The story cuts to Ba'al's magnificent flagship, where he has assembled all the Goa'uld System Lords. In this timeline, he is their undisputed ruler, and Tilek is his loyal first prime. To cement his power, Ba'al executes his final rival, Apophis, in front of everyone. He then unveils his brilliant plan for Earth. He won't conquer it with force, but will present himself as a benevolent god, certain that humanity will fall for it completely. It is a masterstroke of psychological warfare, proving he is a far more cunning villain than anyone realized. With alien ships in orbit, President Henry Hayes is forced to activate the only people who know what's happening. He brings SG-1 to a secret command bunker, finally ready to hear them out. They confirm the ships are just scouts, and that a full-scale invasion is imminent. The president admits they found the second Stargate in Antarctica and have been secretly trying to activate it, but so far have failed. With the enemy on their doorstep, their only hope lies in a piece of alien technology they don't know how to use. The team devises a desperate, high-stakes plan. Use the Antarctic Stargate to get a ZPM, an alien power source, and use it to activate the ancient weapons platform buried deep beneath the ice. President Hayes agrees but assigns them a marine escort with orders to stop them if they try to reset the timeline. As they prepare, Ba'al addresses his underlings, casually carving up the earth and gifting Australia to the Jaffa to secure their loyalty. His manipulation knows no bounds. As SG-1's jets prepare for takeoff, Ba'al makes a direct phone call to the president using an old satellite phone he's kept for this very moment. He calmly offers peace and friendship, a masterful deception designed to lower Earth's defenses. But aboard his ship, his queen, Katesh, grows suspicious. She confronts him, demanding to know how he has such intimate knowledge of Earth when she hasn't let him out of her sight for 50 years. His perfect plan is about to be undone by the one person he thought he controlled. In the middle of his call with the president, Katesh stabs Ba'al from behind, forcing him to abruptly hang up. Just then, Tilek reports that humans have somehow located both the Antarctic Stargate and the buried ancient weapon outpost, a development Ba'al thought was impossible. Panicked and betrayed, Ba'al gives a final, desperate order: destroy both locations from orbit immediately. The team's only hope for defending the planet is now a primary target. The betrayal is absolute. Katesh tortures and kills Ba'al, seizing control of the fleet. She announces that the System Lords have 3 days to bombard Earth, with the greatest rewards going to the one who inflicts the most destruction. But her true goal is to reach Ba'al's secret time machine on the planet Praxian and claim its power for herself. Meanwhile, Teals, ever loyal to his master, escapes in his own ship, vowing to stop her. As a new power struggle erupts in space, SG-1 receives the devastating news: McMurdo Base has been destroyed. Their mission has failed. Just as all hope seems lost, a final, desperate message gets through to SG-1. The other Stargate, the one from the Achilles, has been found by the Russians. The team immediately changes course and flies straight into the firestorm over Washington, D.C., now heading for Russia. In the bunker below, President Hayes and General Hammond are trapped, their last hope pinned on a team they can no longer contact. It's a race against total annihilation, with the fate of the world resting on an artifact lost at sea for nearly a century. The flight to Russia is a life-or-death struggle. The team's F-15 seconds are ambushed by Goa'uld death gliders and are nearly overwhelmed. In a stunning twist, they are saved by a squadron of Russian MiGs who were ordered to expect them and provide cover. They finally reach the secret Russian facility, only to find it dark and powerless. Just as they hit another wall, Tielz's ship lands overhead, wrapping the building in its energy shields to protect it from the orbital bombardment. Teal'c transports down, and SG-1 comes face to face with the man who was once their brother in arms. Mitchell tries to break through to him, recounting their shared history. But this Teal'c only knows his duty to the fallen Ba'al. His mission is singular: get to Praxian and stop Katesh. With the shields outside failing, they strike a tense bargain: work together or die together. Teal'c provides the power source for the Stargate. and the unlikely allies prepare to step through. They arrive at Ba'al's incredible time machine, a vast complex that uses a network of satellites to track solar flares across the galaxy, harnessing their energy to travel through time. As Carter races to understand the controls, Teal'c makes a choice. He agrees to help SG-1 restore the timeline, won over by their promise of true freedom for the Jaffa. But their time runs out as Katesh's forces ring in, and what follows is one of the most intense and tragic battles in the entire story. The battle for time itself is brutal and costly. Daniel is mortally wounded in the crossfire. Carter is shot in the back just as she manages to activate the Stargate. With his friends falling around him, Mitchell makes a desperate last-second dive through the wormhole. Teal'c, riddled with bullets, makes the ultimate sacrifice. As Katesh stands over him, he reveals a hidden grenade, and, with the final defiant words, "I die free," he blows the time machine and everyone in it to pieces, ensuring no one can ever abuse its power again. Mitchell lands in 1939 aboard the Achilles, arriving just in the nick of time. He warns his grandfather, the ship's captain, and together they set an ambush. When Ba'al steps through the Stargate, he and his Jaffa are immediately gunned down, his plan to alter history stopped before it can even begin. With the temporal paradox erased, the scene snaps back to the original timeline, to the Tok'ra pyramid. The extraction ceremony proceeds without interruption, and the last true Ba'al is executed, finally ending the Goa'uld threat for good. With history restored, the team is back to their old selves, casually planning lunch now that the war is over. They briefly puzzle over Ba'al's last words about them making a terrible mistake, but they ultimately dismiss it. The audience, however, knows the secret. As Mitchell leaves the locker room, his locker door swings open to reveal a faded black and white photograph taped inside. A picture of his grandfather standing next to him on the deck of the Achilles in 1939. The timeline wasn't just fixed, it was subtly changed, leaving behind a single impossible souvenir of a war that never happened.